Hey guys, I thought I'd delve into a topic that I don't see a lot of people talk about on YouTube, and I think it needs to be discussed because you hear about a lot of people brush over it. I don't really know why they don't talk about it, but they should. What do you think? What do you think? Let's see what we got here. Like that? A little better? Yeah. My balding head. Yeah, so I figured depending on how long it takes for me to do this video, I may go into further detail and talk about other situations, but I'm going to talk today about suicide and about my bouts with suicide and what's happened to me. I won't go into details with the ones when I was younger. I'll just go into the ones, since we're talking on MGTOW subjects, I'll go into the ones that have to do with women and life events. Basically, the last four that I've had happen. Let's see. I'll try to do them kind of quickly so that video doesn't last really long, just to kind of give you an idea of where I was at in my life. I was, let's see, the first time I was with my first Japanese wife, it was shortly after the stuff started happening with me having problems with my having problems with my my internet connection. Just went to flight mode instead of Wi-Fi. There we go, because I put the camera up on the computer. Okay. Yeah, so I was with my wife, and things that happened with my kids, where I was not seeing them anymore, and things was happening where my ex-wife would, or my wife I should say, would throw my stuff out on a balcony that we had that was behind our house. We had what's like in Japan kind of a shotgun apartment house, kind of like we lived in a place where it was parking underneath. It was just one floor, and there was like, I think there was 4 or 5 like apartments just in a row, and then there was like like a roof where they had a place where you could hang clothes and stuff up there. And that's the first place I lived at in Japan. I lived there for about 2 years, and then we moved out of there into a house that my wife and I bought. So we were living there, and she kept destroying my stuff. She had me on kind of a short leash and wouldn't let me go out and do things without her. I didn't have any friends unless they were her friends from work, from her nursing and stuff. So she kind of tried to keep me on a short leash so that I wouldn't get out of the house. And I was, me being, transgender like I am, and also having manic depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar, all the things, I basically got very depressed. And the only things that kind of kept me happy were playing music, which she made that kind of a nightmare, and my kids, which she had taken from me and had them go stay in my mother-in-law's house. So it got to a point one day where she had said something, and I just was really had enough. I felt stuck in Japan. I didn't have a job at the time, and I was really depressed. So I went down, and we had bought a Mini Cooper, and I had put a hose from the gas pipe to the inside of the car, and I sat down there for, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours or something in the car. And because it's a Mini Cooper, it didn't kill me, but you know, that was basically the end of that story. Things got worse from there, and I think maybe a year and a half after that, I left her and went back to the U.S. Let's see. The next 2 times happened within 1 month. I was with my new wife. Things were kind of different but the same. I was having issues with living in Japan and finding jobs, and it tends to be kind of hard for foreigners in Japan who end up with normal jobs, we'll say, because I was here long enough to where I spoke some Japanese, and I was able to work as welder and painter and doing automotive work and painting work and stuff like that, and painting apartment complexes and buildings and stuff like that. I'll go into further detail about some of that stuff because it's funny too. So yeah, I was doing that, and I was having a hard time because it's you get a lot of just a lot of, like, not really bullying, but just kind of like even though you may have like 20 years of experience in what you're doing, they have this kind of, like, you know, superiority complex here where it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something, you've never done it for them, so you don't know what you're doing, you know, that kind of thing. So they make you feel like shit, basically. And my wife, she was having problems as well, and I was having problems with my adopted kids. They weren't really respecting me. My wife didn't really seem to care, and it just came to a head. And my dad had died as well, and I hadn't spoke with my mom, and it was just, I hadn't seen my kids, and things were just mounting up. So my wife had she had panic attacks when I met her, and I helped her get through those. So I don't know what she's like now, but I helped her get through those to where she wasn't having panic attacks, and I kind of instructed her on what was the cause of them, and stopped her from having those problems. But she had a box full of, like, really strong panic attack medications, and she told me about this one that she had that was one that if you take too many of them, your heart stops, and they're really strong. So she had this box full of those, and the kids were out at school one day, and she was gone at work. I was home alone. I went upstairs and laid down in the bed, and I think it was 151 pills, I think it was. I crushed them into a powder. I put them in a water glass, and I drank them with water. And then I laid down in the bed, hoping that that would be it. And I ended up waking up 3 days later, when a doctor was speaking to me or something. Apparently I was awake, but my brain wasn't functioning because I wasn't able to, like, remember or process anything that had happened. So I didn't actually. The first thing I remembered was like 3 days later when somebody was speaking to me, and I was in the hospital. And apparently they had me in diapers, and, like, my wife had told me, like, you know, I was talking and lucid and everything, but I didn't remember anything for 3 days. So, and I was still depressed. They let me go home, and I was home for 6 hours, and we went to sleep, And I woke up 6 hours later, maybe, and took some more pills, another 51 or something that she had had. So my wife had figured out I did it again, and she had to take me to the hospital, and I ended up getting my stomach pumped or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was just something like that. And then that was the last time I did that, and it was I think a year and a half later or something like that, and I left Japan to go back to the U.S. So while I was in the U.S., I thought I was going to be able to bring my wife, to America and have all kinds of fun. And I thought it'd be great. We'd live there and we'd have a great life, and I'd have jobs, and everything would be going great. But as I said before, I didn't realize that we had a problem going on in the U.S. And because of that, I was working for the place doing door-to-door, and I worked for that place and worked for them for 8 months, and I only made like $880 in 8 months. And I ended up living in an apartment with 4 other people, and one of them was the owner, and one of them was the owner's friend, and he was like a meth head, and it was just a horrible environment. But that was towards the end. This was in the beginning. I had a Steve Vai Ibanez Jim guitar that I had bought, that I have some videos of if you look on my page back when I was in Japan. I had bought it in November. I left for America in February, and by June of that next year, I'd already lost it in pawn because I couldn't pay for it. So I was just, I thought I was going to lose my home because I wasn't making any money, and I did lose my home, and eventually had to move out into an apartment with the owner of the company that I was working for. So I really felt like everything was stacked against me, and I wasn't going to get anywhere in life. And it's kind of been like that most of my life, to where I have ideas for things I want to do, and everybody else is doing them, and I'm left here with worrying, like having this, maybe even the same equipment, and not being able to pull off what the other people can do. So I just felt like I didn't know what to do, what I could do, and I ended up going to a Walgreens that was right by my house, and I bought 4 boxes of sleeping pills, and I took, I think, all 4 boxes and crushed them, and I think there was I forget what it was, like 104 pills or something like that. I didn't crush them this time. I actually took them, and I didn't have any friends. That's So if something would have happened, I would have been in my home, and nobody besides maybe the apartment rent place might have came by. I didn't have any friends. I'd been in Japan for a long time. I hadn't actually literally lived in Denver at the time since 2000, so I didn't know anybody in Denver. So yeah, I ended up puking, and it was really weird. When I took those, I woke up, and I already knew. I was cognitive enough to know that it was all fake, but I woke up, and I had these hallucinations where there was bugs all over the bed. It was really weird, and I was squashing them, and there was like spiders and cockroaches and all this stuff all over my bed. When I woke up, it was really weird. I pulled the covers back, and there was just bugs everywhere. It was really strange. And then I was still coming down off of the drugs for the next 2 days, and I ended up with hearing voices and stuff. I kept hearing people talking outside of my house, kind of weird, outside the front door, and I'd go look through the peephole, but I didn't see anybody out there. but I could hear people talking, and I kept hearing like the guy that I worked for, the owner of the company, like I would be laying in bed and I would see somebody like look around the corner, and then I kept hearing like people discussing, like talking, like they were going to put me in a home, or like a mental institution or something like that. I kept hearing like people like talking and stuff, and I didn't know what was really going on, but I thought maybe they had came to my house and had got in the house and was like trying to figure out what to do with me, that kind of thing. So, and then once I did actually, I was able to like go out of my home. My boss kept wanting me to go to work, so I had picked up some books from work, and I worked around my house area, and it was really hard to do because I couldn't walk that well after that. I was having a hard time, like almost fainting, that kind of thing. And then later on, I moved in with my boss in the apartment with 4 other people. So that's basically my 3 stories, or 4 stories of my suicide attempts, of what I done. When I was younger, as a child, I actually ended up in a couple of facilities as a child from being very into self-harm and stuff like that. I have some cuts on my wrist and here where I actually did some cutting. Like this one here, I was all the way down to the bone. So I have like, that's why I put the tattoo over it, because you can actually see where it goes in. I don't know if you can see that. You can actually see how deep it goes in, and it went all the way to the bone, all the way up to about here. So I have a cut like that. This one here, I was trying to cut into the vein, or so I would bleed out, and then I cut myself here, and then I have some cuts here, and I have cuts all over. So yeah, those are from when I was younger and a child and stuff like that. But those are also from manic depression and transgender issues and stuff. But yeah, I figured I brought that up. See, I didn't see many videos on the net of people talking about suicide and things like that. There's all the people that talk about trigger warnings and all that stuff. I don't really give a shit about any of that. I'm just telling people what happened to me. People seem to like on the net when you're honest, and you're honest about your life and what you've been through, and gives kind of people into they get to kind of view your life and what you've been through in life. So this is my life and what I've been through, and I just keep telling stories. So I'll go into more detail if anybody wants, but that's basically the stories of my suicide. If you like this video, share, like, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Remember that at 5,000 subs, I'm going to be giving away guitar, signed guitar, with some music theory stuff that I'll give away with it as well. That'll go in the case or in the box, And if you want to make money on your channel, you should go to the FilmStudios TV. It's in my description below, where you can make money on your videos, and that's kind of cool to do. I've been making money on my videos now for about 2 months. After 8 years of not making any money, it's kind of nice. And yeah, share, like, and subscribe. Have a nice day.